Hello everybody, this is Sofia Galanaki from Crete, Rethymno. Thank you very much for joining me today, and thank you Johanna for inviting me to be part of the Ladies Tango Week. It's a great pleasure to be able to share with you some of myself and some of my tango. So, tango. Why did I choose tango, or better, why did tango choose me? I actually followed the career of many of the girls of my time, starting dancing at a very young age, beginning at 4 with classical ballet and modern dance, then experimenting with other types of dance like flamenco, standard Latin, and general Latin American dances. I even started dancing a bit of tango, European tango as we called it. And I always had in the back of my mind that there was a music that I enjoyed hearing a lot. It was a music that was very famous in Greece. It was Tango of Piazzolla. I didn't know the difference between European and Argentine tango at the time, but I was always curious to find. You have to imagine that it was the beginning of 2000, more than 20 years ago, so it was a moment when tango was not really a thing here in Greece and in Europe also in general. It was then starting to boom, and we didn't have so much possibility from who to learn. There were not so many maestros going around. Tango was not so developed as it is today. It was also a time before YouTube. It was also a time when we didn't have access to so much information as we do today. I had to travel from Crete, take the boat or the plane to go to Athens and watch, for example, Tango por Dos or Tango Pasión, the big companies who were visiting or touring around Europe. So every time that I saw something like that happening, I was always running after it and thinking, okay, this is happening now, I have to watch it. We started as a very small community here. We were like 3-5 people interested in tango, and as we didn't have many means, we started teaching each other by what we had seen, or by sending delegates in Athens to learn from a teacher who was passing by, and we were sharing whatever we had among us. This community started growing more and more, and the 5 people became 10, and we held our first milonga. And it was really nice to see that more people were joining us and were sharing the same craziness that we had. But then in 2004 I had to leave my city because my studies brought me to Germany, to Heidelberg. I went there to study ancient history, write a PhD, but my life and tango came in between us, and so I started traveling and dancing more and more because I wanted to emphasize more on that part of my life. I wanted to follow my heart. So being in Germany and being in the heart of the revolution that was happening in tango at the time, it was a golden era. Many maestros were living in Europe at the time. My city was just an hour and a half from Paris, where my maestros were living, and I started commuting very often to take lessons from them. I also started working a bit with tango at the time, forming various partnerships with people that were also living in Germany, like me. One of the highlights of my career was collaborating for a short period of time with Federico Toledo, and with him we had the chance to perform and meet the great Pina Bausch that happened in Wuppertal, in Café Ada, one of the most historic milongas of Germany, of the world, I think. And I think it was one of the highlights of my tango life up to now, being able to shake her hands and say thank you, and also seeing her from up close and personal. My My career at the university stopped at the moment, and there was a time that I had to come back. So in 2008, I came back to my city. I came back to my island to start working and begin with a real life. That is when I realized that I was missing tango a lot, and I thought I had to do something about it, because the community that I had left when I went to Germany was not more there, or it was a bit scattered and disorganized. And you have to imagine that it was very easy to happen because we are an island in the periphery of Greece, in the south of Greece, and we are not so much a center. So I thought I needed to do something about it if I wanted to have tango back in my life and be active with it. I then started organizing some classes. I founded our association, the Association Tango Cultural, and little by little we started to have a group that was growing more and more. During my tango life, I never had a steady partner. When I began to dance, I was obliged to learn both roles, leaders and followers, from my very first steps. So I was switching roles all the time, and actually during teaching I always taught alone, leading and with the assistance of female dancers. I was also practicing with many different partners, and from time to time we would stay together for a longer time, forming a tango couple, especially during my permanence in Germany. But that all changed in 2012. During a seminar for dancers by Ciccio and Juana in Cagliari, I met the small Ciccio, as we call him, Ciccio Aiello from Calabria, Italy. We actually enjoyed so much dancing together that we decided to give it a try to cooperate and see what comes out of it. During that time, we both didn't have a partner, and we were willing to experiment and exchange ideas about our tango and see what happens. What began as a simple exchange or as an experiment developed in a very strong partnership and an even stronger friendship. Of course, we were not the typical tango couple. We were working, both of us, in our schools. I was in Crete, Rethymno, and Ciccio was always in Cosenza, Calabria, and both of us had our own personal projects and associations, but we decided to build a bridge between Italy and Greece and leave aside all the difficulties that a long-distance partnership and collaboration has. Of course, we didn't have the luxury of being together, of being able to practice every day as a normal tango couple, of being close and sharing teaching and practicing together. We actually had to make a schedule to meet once or twice a month, either in Greece or in Italy, just to practice. And in the beginning, we were commuting a lot, always searching for tickets on the internet in order to find a destination that was accessible for both of us so as to meet and practice. Our craziness had believers and supporters. First of all, in our families, we always say that Ciccio's wife and my husband are our biggest fans, and they enabled us to travel and build something as a tango couple. Then Ciccio and Sofia, Sofia and Ciccio. And not just them. We started getting invited by people who loved what we do and how we do it. And so during the past 8 years that we've been working together, we found ourselves traveling all over Europe, USA and Latin America. And through these travels, we were able to do what we love most, teach and dance. For that, I feel blessed, and I'm really looking forward to resume all of our plans and activities. I was always thinking, okay, we live here. It's paradise and it's a beautiful place and we have everything. But what can we do to make it even better in terms of tango speaking? I wanted to be able to share with as many people as possible and to be able to raise the level of my students and of the community in general. So I started organizing small workshops, inviting as many people as I could from abroad. The idea was to bring the outside inside, because as I said, we were a small community and we were hungry for more. So through these small workshops that I started organizing and who showed that we had a lot to learn, we finally arrived in 2013 to the moment that the place and the time were right to be able to host a festival, a real international tango festival for the first time. And that is when A Los Amigos Tango Festival was born. In September 2013, we held our first event, our first tango festival, and it was actually what the name said, a gathering among friends. To rephrase the famous tango, we said we dedicate it to our friends. So we were, in the beginning, 3 couples of dancers and teachers, mainly from Greece, who joined forces and wanted to share their knowledge with everybody. It was a big feast that every year kept becoming bigger and bigger. Until 2019, that was for me the best edition of the festival. We were able to host people from 38 countries of the world who enjoyed for a week our tango, our guest maestros, and our city. Unfortunately, the pandemic affected us too. Last year we had to organize it online. We hope that in the near future, also this year, we will be able to host it, and we are feeling positive about the future. Currently, all the activities of our association have been moved online. We are hosting twice a week seminars with invited guests. On Sunday, we have the Tango Basics series, which is mainly focused on technique, with invited maestros from Greece mainly. And every Thursday, we have the section special seminars with invited maestros from Argentina and the rest of the world. We have been very happy to be hosting these workshops for the past 6 months, because it is a way to keep the flame going, and it is a way to keep us connected and share whatever we can share among us. So this is what I wanted to do with you today, share a little bit of myself, tell you about my plans, and give you a few tips of what is for me most important in tango. Thank you. The idea is that you start to move in space without the other person even noticing that something is changing. Try and make the movement as soft as possible and the transit from one place to the other without any effort. Try to imagine that you are moving in water, or that your feet are dipped in honey.